here in Belfast, and joining us now, the person who had the honor just a few moments ago to help with the unveiling, Janice Gleason Wolfer, of course, related to the great William Muldoon. Tell us about your relationship.
My great-grandmother is William Muldoon's older sister, Margaret. And my grandmother and her sister, Margaret's daughters, were very close to William Muldoon because they actually lived in his home here in Belfast at the same time that he was training John L. Sullivan. I think they might have been hired girls. They were teenagers. They probably were helping with the cooking and washing and all that. And he kept in close touch with them his whole life, even after he started his other spa down at White Plains. He wrote letters to them frequently, so they kept in very good touch with him. So he lived until I was 13 years old, so I had heard much about him throughout my life, even though I never did see him. He planned to come to his sister, Margaret, my great-grandmother's funeral in 1924, and he was about to board the train when he was taken ill, and he was never in as good health after that as he had been before, and so I believe he did not make another trip to New York in that time.
He was a very health-conscious person.
Yes.
He knew as far as what to eat and things like that.
Yes.
Of course, his rigorous training of John L. Sullivan, but I guess he was one of the first health gurus, if you will.
He had a sports camp here in Belfast in those barns before he trained John L. Sullivan. And then he went down to White Plains and had a health spa for, I guess, the remainder of his life. And he helped dry out some important people. And I mustn't say that dry out when I'm talking about a president, but Teddy Roosevelt was there anyway, and some other presidents, and very important people came to his spot. He favored exercise as well as a rigid diet, because it says in the records that he made John L. Sullivan walk 8 miles around the hills of Belfast here every morning early, and then they went to the gym for that training.
It was really quite remarkable when you get right down to that.
Oh yes. He did own another home, a residence on one of these streets here in Belfast for a time, but his wife didn't like being away from the city, and so she left, and then he did.
It's really quite remarkable that we've been mentioning throughout today that William Muldoon, of course, a member of the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame, the statue today, but also his greatness as a wrestler. He is in the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and that's in Amsterdam, New York. So, I mean, here he was in 2 museums as a wrestler, wrestling champion that he was, a great champion, and here, of course, a trainer in these barns.
Right, and he had another sidelight profession. He was a policeman in New York City. That's what drew him there. His brother was down there as a policeman, and so he, for a short time. Then he was, perhaps you could call it, into acting. He, in those times when there was a play being presented on a stage, it was a popular thing to have someone like him in beautiful physique stand on the stage as though he were a statue. And he posed as an early wrestler, or he posed it like almost an Athenian god would look to them. And they would stand there throughout for 15 or 20 minutes at a time and not move a muscle. And then he also started to be an actor, but that I don't think that ever materialized. And then he came back here to Belfast and had this health care in these buildings before. Well, they begged him to take care of us.
Well, that's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing the memories. I know this is a special treat today.
Oh, it certainly is. It certainly is. And I'm following in the footsteps of the Muldoons. I'm 92 already.
My goodness, you certainly don't look 92 or whatever. And 92 should look like. You certainly look great.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for the great stories, too.
To me.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Nice to meet you, too, Janice. Thank you so much.